Alright, alright, alright. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. Well, hello, sir. Today we're doing a 747 flight, FedEx. Heavy plane right now. We're at, oh dear. What is our current weight? We've got almost 200,000 pounds worth of cargo in this thing. So, this is going to be an interesting takeoff. Thankfully, I ended up choosing a longer runway than they originally gave me. I don't think I was going to be able to get off the ground without that, but we're going to go ahead and get going as soon as I check something real quick. Alright, let's go ahead and get the power on. Get the navs aligned. Nav and logo light on. If I could find the click spot for the logo light, that'd be great. And I'm going to go ahead and get the APU started. And I forgot to load in the new flight on there. Well, hi artist, thanks for the subscription. How you doing? Alright, hang on one second. I gotta go ahead and update my flight plan in Sim Toolkit because it is not reflecting the new weight values. And I need to make sure those are correct. So let me go ahead and look at my load sheet here. Payload is good. Block fuel 76,000. Should be 75,700 pounds. Should be a little light on the fuel. But honestly, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, considering the fact that we're probably not going to burn all that anyway, and my reserve is over 10,000 pounds, so that's not going to be too much of a problem. How much cargo, you say? Almost 300,000. I was wrong. I thought it was going to be almost 200,000. No, it's almost 300,000 pounds of cargo. Pretty heavy. And considering that, of course, the model we have in Flight Sim is the passenger version and not the freighter version, we just kind of got a FedEx Express skin on it. It would have been more if it was an actual cargo version, but considering we don't have that, I had to make do. Well, I'm glad you're good. I'm doing pretty good as well. As I said, this is my very first stream, so I gotta be totally honest with you. I'm a wee bit nervous artist, so if I fumble over words or say something stupid or do something stupid, don't fault me, please. What is with the click spots in this thing right now? Technically, I don't need the external power since the APU is fired up. APU bleed is on, and we seem to be good on the overhead. Let me go ahead and get dome light on a little bit here, and the floodlights panel just a bit. Alright, we'll go into the FMC. Pause in it. Reference airport. We are at Indianapolis, Indiana. And we're gonna go ahead and throw the GPS position in there. Famous last words, seems legit. And real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and get our current heading just to make sure that the INS is as aligned as it can be. I do not remember the number of the gate that we're at, considering that it's not even really a gate, it's just a cargo loading ramp. Screw it, I guess? Alright, we'll go ahead and go into route. Request send. We'll grab the information from SimBrief. I did not know that that ding was a thing. It's pretty cool, actually. Speaking of pretty cool sounds, the fly-by-wire A32NX, they added, what do you call it? They added cabin announcements recently, and they sound freaking amazing. Yes, I'll hurry up. And why did it not populate my destination? Denver. Alright, and go ahead and... Yeah, we do. Let me go ahead and check and make sure that the route is actually properly in there. It'll be Rocky 1 departure through the SPI transition. I haven't put that in yet, but it's direct to ERT, HSI, brewery, and then... Why is SPI in there again? I'm actually going to go ahead and delete that because that should not be there. Execute that. And I'm going to go ahead and set up the departure and arrivals. I'm not using any sort of ATC right now. I'm not that good with VATSIM yet. Really, I'm not good at all. And I don't want to make an idiot of myself on my very first stream trying to use VATSIM when, yeah, I'm not that good with it. So I'm just going to fly the aircraft from here to there and forget about ATC. Because we all famously know the in-game ATC is kind of meh. No, I'm not using runway 14. It's going to be 23, right? If I'm correct there. What is that runway? No, it's going to be runway 5 right. I remember now. Runway 5 right, and same STID SPI transition index arrivals, and it's the logger 3 through the brewery transition. Yeah, you're right. We don't need no gate. We're a strong, independent jumbo jet, and we don't need no gate. Logger 3, brewery transition. Flight plan has us landing runway 16 right in Denver. And if I remember correctly, the transition I had chosen was... I think it was... Oh, maybe not. 1 second. No, not 16, right? I am an idiot. Can't even remember the runways I chose. Jesus Christ. 34 left. Through the teller transition. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Got a discontinuity there, that's fine. We'll check that in a minute. Alright, let's go through performance real quick. Reserves are going to be... Actually, let me pull up flight plan on delivery just to make absolutely sure. Reserves are going to be 9.9 thousand. Yeah, 9.9. Reserves. Cruising altitude is 36,000 feet, although only God knows. No. 036, thank you. Okay, well, does what it wants, I guess. With a cost index of 26. I'm going to go ahead and go to thrust limit. This, as far as I understand, doesn't exactly work yet in the Salty 7.4, so I'm going to do regular takeoff. Well, I'll do climb profile 1, just so it's not that crazy of a climb out. Flaps. I think I kind of want to do a flaps 10. I think with our weight, flaps 10 is probably going to be best for this. Unless we got a V1 of 147, rotate speed of 163, and a V2 of 179. I honestly might want to go a little bit more on the flaps. Flaps 20 is the absolute maximum this thing can take off with. So I think I'll leave it for now. And it shouldn't be too much of a problem. V2, I'm going to do V2 plus 10, so I'm going to put 189 in the box. I was the wrong way. And initial altitude, as far as I can tell on Navigraph. Let me see. The departure, I think it's initial climb to 5,000. Indianapolis International, runway 5 right. Climb on heading is 050. So let's go ahead and fix that. Alright, climb on heading 050 to the IOQV, then on assigned heading 05070, maintain 5,000. Alright, so initial climb is going to be to 5,000. I'm pretty much just going to steer myself when it comes to the headings, because we're going to need to make a pretty hard left turn after we come out of here. I need that in a bit. Let's go to plan. And we can real quick step through this and clear up any discounts. Alright, so yeah, we're going to take off runway heading, which is 050, and then we're going to have to make a left turn up to the first waypoint, which is TTH for the SID. Let's see, yeah. So then on assigned heading. Yeah, so I'm going to just take off 050 and then make a left turn. We'll climb up to 5,000. Once I hit 5,000, I'm just going to kind of clear myself up to our flight level of 36,000. Actually, speaking of our flight level, let's see if I can actually fix that. There we go. 360. That legs, that discontinuity should be there. Go ahead and step through Rocky, SPI, or HSI, brewery, and then there's a hole between brewery and Dunkel. Just fill that in. HSI, brewery, Dunkel, Kolsch. Then our top of descent is just before Plasner, and then it's on the descent to Lager, Pint, Burke, Shep, Hasselt, and then down through, which then I'll pretty much vector us south, out west a little bit, and then turn back in to line up with Teller, and then that'll bring us into the runway. Alright, let's go ahead and get off of plan mode, and considering that our navs are aligned, I'll go ahead and turn on the flight directors, allow the auto throttle to arm. Why is it yelling at me about window? Well, probably because they need to be on. I'll go ahead and turn the anti-ice to auto as well. As far as I understand, you're only supposed to do that after engine start, but you know, we do what we want around here. Go ahead and switch those over to nav since they're done aligning. And we should, for the most part, be good to go. Just do one final check. Yep, good there. CG 3.4%. Yep. We are Gucci. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the beacon light on, if it would let me. There we go. Both. And let's go ahead and plan the pushback. So considering where we are and what runway we're taking off from, I'm going to push back tail left and head down this parking taxiway, and at the end of it, it splits off, and then we'll take a right turn on the a right turn and then a left turn on the Delta, and it'll be on our way to the runway from there. So let's go ahead, zoom ourselves out a bit. That there. I do not like how it jumps around like that, but we can always fix it. After we've pushed back, we'll just get on the taxiway line like normal. And I'm gonna go ahead and request pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
Air stairs have left us. Pushback tug is getting connected. And as soon as we get confirmation, I'll go ahead and get the engine started. In the meantime,
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed.
Go ahead and
all
get
doors and hatches closed, and all ground equipment is removed.
fuel
We are
pumps
cleared
on.
for start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please
I don't know
release
what
parking
is that
brake.
click spots in this thing today.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Alright. I like to do it inboards first. Go ahead and get these starters going. And... come on. Alright, fine. Let's go ahead and get the transponder going. Quick, I'm gonna tune the ATIS and find out what
Indianapolis
the
Airport
pressure is.
information, Whiskey 2000 Zulu. Wind 155 at tree 0. Visibility 10. Sky condition 4,700 feet, scattered ceiling 13,800 feet broken. Temperature 24. Dew point 10. Altimeter 29.81. ILS runway 2 tree left and ILS runway 2 tree right in use. Landing and departing runway 2 tree left and runway 2 tree right. VFR aircraft.
Alright, now that those two engines are going, we'll go ahead and get the outputs on.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Alright, we'll go ahead and set the parking brake.
Parking brake
So they
set.
can disconnect.
Ground. Startup is complete. You may disconnect.
Roger. Good engine start. Cleared to disconnect. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
FedEx Flight 15 Heavy is started up and soon will be ready to taxi. Sweet, they're out of the way. Go ahead and get the taxi light on. Oh, the click spots are magical today. Absolutely magical. APU generator's off. Kill the APU. And we'll go ahead and set flaps 10. RML nav and VNav. And I like to set the auto brakes and the automatic ground spoilers once I'm holding short of the runway. Alright. Let's take off the parking brake. I'm gonna go ahead and start taxiing to get out of here. We're gonna need a good bit of power to get this beast rolling. She lives! increase our view slightly. And we'll go ahead. Okay, yeah, clearance should be good on the right. Yeah, we got tons of room. Let's make sure we actually stay somewhere in the zip code of the center line. There we go, that's a bit of a better view. Speed up to about 20 knots ground speed. I love how Air Force 2, that's an A320, is just chilling over here in the UPS and FedEx area, but we're not going to talk about that. I really wish I could find a way to make it so that only aircraft that are supposed to be in these parking areas are there, like, I don't know, cargo aircraft, because this entire area down here, from the building that I was sitting in front of, like the edge of that building, the right edge, all the way down this way is, I think supposed to be UPS and a couple of other cargo airlines. And I think I screwed up staring at those other planes. Yes, I bloody did. Alright, well, we're just gonna pop a quick UE like this is California. We can see, yay! Yeah, I think my saved custom camera in the cockpit is a little bit low. All right. Now that we've fixed that mistake, I'm just gonna pretend like that didn't happen. I like that idea. And a left turn here. So is the quality of the stream okay? Any lag spikes? For the stream itself, not my game. We're not going to talk about how poorly my game's trying to run. I'm just gonna turn LNAV off. I'll use heading mode when the time comes. Seems to be good right now. Okay. I think the one thing I'm worried most about is the audio, actually, because I played around with the audio a good bit when I was setting everything up, but I noticed that my microphone quality was a little questionable. That, and when we get into our climb out and cruise, and I throw some music on. There were I couldn't really seem to get the levels between the game itself and the music volume right. I'm still tinkering with it. Thanks for coming to watch, Sasha. I know flight sim isn't really your cup of tea. We're finally about to be at the runway. I'm gonna go all the way to the very last intersection here, because we're gonna need all the runway length we can get. Swing this massive thing around. That's what she said. What are you talking about? I never said that. And we're gonna hold just short of 5.8. Alright. Jesus Christ, these click spots. What is going on here? Alright, we will get strobe lights on. We don't need the wing lights. It is daytime. We don't really need the logo lights, but on takeoff, I do believe that I'm supposed to have those on. Actually, I can turn off the APU's bleed as it's no longer needed. Auto brakes to RTO. What? Okay. Speed brake is on. There's usually a animation for that, but alright. I've got traffic turned off, but I still want to check left and right, just to make sure. Speaking of tea. Tea does sound kind of good right now, though, to be honest with you. I've had so much hot chocolate over the last few days. I think after the canister of cocoa powder that I've got is gone, I'm probably not going to want to see hot chocolate again for a long, long time. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and put on the brakes. A little lower. Go ahead and run the engines up to 40%. Or thereabouts. Yeah, okay. Around 50%. And then off the brakes. Toga and max power. Speed tape is alive. $80 knots. Oh dear. You know what? We're just gonna rotate. Oh, Jesus, the crosswind. Dear Jesus. Alright. We somehow managed to make it off the ground. Flaps up to 10. Good Lord, can I even find the click spot for the heading hold? There we go. Heading select. Alright, and let's come around to about 350. And flaps 5. Actually, let's go ahead and keep turning. Flaps 1. That buzzer was a sound for 1,000 below, by the way. We're not crashing, don't worry. And flaps up. Why? Wait. We are below 10,000. Speed should be restrained to 250. Let's go ahead and go direct to TTH. We'll go ahead and get LNAV on. And the aircraft should start turning us onto our heading. Oh my god, that would be part of the problem probably. I may or may not have never raised the gear. We're not going to talk about it. What do you mean you think I picked the wrong runway? It was the longest runway Indianapolis had. It's all I've got. Alright, we're at 5,000. I'm gonna go ahead and get us climbing up to 36,000 feet. And let's go ahead and clear the aircraft up. Alright. I'm gonna disarm the... No! Don't tell the FAA. They don't need to know nothing. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and turn off the taxi lights. Runway turn-offs. We're still below 10,000, so I'm gonna leave the landing lights on. Full power climb up to 36,000. Now climbing through 9,000 feet. Holy climb speed. Climbing over 4,000 feet per minute. Honestly, I want to get up above the choppiness and the winds anyway. Oh, seems legit. I think what happened there was the fact that I was so caught up in the fact that plane tried to fly off to the right and into some trees when I took off that I totally forgot to put up the landing gear. But, you know, I caught it before it got too high up. Which, technically, there's nothing bad about not putting the gear up immediately. The other thing is it's hard to gain speed. But, you know, there's no laws or rules or... And why isn't that working properly? I'll restart Fly Live real quick because it is not reporting the speed properly at all. Good lord, I have so many windows open. Alright, that's finally working properly. But I've got to re-put in the information for departure and arrival. Indianapolis to Denver. Call sign FedEx Flight 15. No, not FS15, FX15. Alright, Gucci. Crew chief isn't gonna like you. It's not really crew chief that's the problem. More so maintenance. Alright, through 10,000, I can go ahead and turn the landing lights off. As soon as we hit 18, bump that over to standard pressure. I can get that click spot to work. Standard pressure. Yeah. Going too fast with the gear down can cause damage, but considering how heavy we were not going to be picking up speed that quickly, so... I see it as a well-calculated risk. Now that we are above the clouds, go ahead and turn all these off. We don't need them! And we don't have any passengers, per se, but I would imagine there'd be, you know, some flight crew. Tell them they can get up and move around. Hopefully things don't get bumpy. Good lord, I love the clouds in this game. Plane accelerate a bit. What's this music going? YouTube recommends that I use a stream bitrate of 9,500 kilobytes per second. I will remember to increase that. Hello, viewer number 3. Four viewers. Shows only 2 participants. Confusion is real. Holy lag spikes, Batman. I need to drink some water. Ah, I see. Oh, so you want to hear something funny? Apparently the test stream that I did yesterday, due to overlapping audio, because I forgot that I had the audio turned on in YouTube to view, what was going on and hear the audio levels and such. Apparently, because of the overlapping audio, that particular stream, after it was saved to my YouTube, it got a copyright material strike, and I'm like, what? So I listened to the song that it thinks was in there, and it's some sort of something with Jaden Smith in it. I'm like, no. Because for music I use, of course, Spotify, and I had found a playlist of copyright-free lo-fi to play. So, I don't know what YouTube's algorithm was thinking, but it was very wrong. That's okay though, I was deleting that video anyway, but it was like, Jesus Christ. See if this actually gives me excuse me. See if this actually gives me a prediction of best altitude. No, it doesn't. Altitude. Oh no, it does actually. Recommended flight level 330. I think I honestly might just stop at 33,000, because that's going to give me the best fuel economy. Might as well. Yeah, I'll go ahead and stop climbing 33. I'll just do its thing there. Save some fuel. Got a 40 knot crosswind from the left. Well, left front-ish. It'll be full left once we make this turn at Rocky. So how are the audio levels? Can you hear the music? Because I myself am having a hard time hearing it. Yeah, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Let's turn up Spotify a bit. Okay, now I feel like Spotify's a little loud. Jesus. Well, let me know what you think. so we seem to be at our cruise level now. Going along nice and smooth. Thank the gods that there's no turbulence up here like I thought there would be. Because we don't want this much weight getting jostled around too much. Now, fingers crossed and knock on wood, the gremlins within Flight Sim don't pop out and start throwing the plane around, because Lord knows that's always a problem. Current time Zulu is 21:22. Wait, no, that's when we'll get to Urk. It's 21:08. You do have a point. This is a pretty good way to just chill out and vibe for a bit. Usually when I'm flying in this, just chilling, watching random YouTube videos, find something to laugh at. Maybe throw on a documentary. Usually. Actually, right now is a rather good time to check and make sure that all of the altitudes and such, all the restrictions for the descent are in there properly. And it seems like the only ones that are there are for the actual arrival, so I'm gonna have to fix that. So our first altitude restriction is at point below 21,000, above 15,000. Actually, why do I feel like this went in? No, it went in right. Alright, let's do 210B 150A. Will it accept it like that? Yes, and it put in the correct speed as well. Okay, works for me. Next point is burp. It's 170 below. 150 above. Okay, maybe not 170 knots, but we can work on that. Next one is, yeah, at 150 below and 130 above. What is it doing? Wait a minute. Is it treating... I think I just figured something out. 15,000 above. And then 21,000 below. Okay, well that's confusing. Okay, above 15, below flight level 21, or 210. That sounds proper. And that should be at 250 knot. And for burp, it'll be 17,000 below and above 50,000. Okay. And speed should actually be empty, but we're gonna put it in 250. Jeff 250 slash 1,000 below 13,000 above. Okay, yeah, that looks better. Hazold, nothing, no restrictions on Hazold. And then hi mom. Wait, Grilla. Oh yeah, there's nothing on Grilla either. Hi mom is 210 for 11,000. That's vectors into the actual approach. Teller mandatory 11,000, mandatory 210 knots. Alpine, yep, 10,500. And then on to COG, mandatory 10,000. Kaler, I don't know why this is a 10,000 or above, but I'm gonna just because knowing this plane, it'll probably try to climb after that. I don't want that. Then Kaler. Kaler is 10,000. Merkel is also 10,000. Arnold 9,000 above. Winter 7,000. And then on to, let's roll. Catch the glide slope. Nav into runway 34 left. Alright, so we should be good now, but let's just review and make sure. Yeah, everything looks good. But considering that those aren't in there, our top of descent seems to be just after Logger. $16 miles. That seems a little odd. If it's just after Logger, it's 16 miles to Pint, and by Pint we need to be below 21,000. So that means we'd have to drop 12,000 feet in 16 miles. I think I'm going to start our descent earlier than that. Wait, no, hold on. That's actually just after Pilsner. Okay, if that's just after Pilsner, then that makes sense. Because that's 43 miles, then another 16 to Pint. So, 59 miles? Yeah, okay, I think we're gonna actually. That confused me for a second. I forgot that the actual names of the waypoints are slightly below them. I was thinking that this one right here was longer. I'm like, why in the world? No, we're good. Well, let's give you guys a different wing view. Now you're the Ranod YouTube video? Ranod? Oh, nice! Your test lights came in. What do you mean by Ranod? People in the back. Oh, wow. Okay, seems legit. I find what was done to me extremely rude, and I am offended. Sadness. My sadness is infinite. Airport elevation, 5,400 feet. Ooh. And we're gonna need full flaps and probably a little bit more speed than normal. On landing anyway. Oh, random. Okay. Okay, I see why that comment was funny now. Now I am the random YouTube video. Okay. Let's say, Jesus Christ, do I need to come check on you? Did you just have a stroke? The things I would do for a bag of chips right now. I would... Actually, there's not much I do for a bag of chips right now, to be honest with you. What are you doing right now? Oh. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor and not destroying the ones that you've taken off of your desk, I might want to yoink those and use them. Now, one of these days, I need to get a third screen. Probably do it vertically like you did on your leftmost one. Because, like, I need to be able to have my sim toolkit on one monitor, the left one. That way I can see my charts and everything. And on the rightmost one, have Streamlabs and chat and whatnot. That way I can have everything up at the same time. If I end up getting more subscribers and people actually start watching my streams, I'm going to want to be able to keep up with chat while I'm, you know, doing other things with like programming the FMC and such. I really wish I could get rid of this inner wall on the left side of my desk. I mean, I could probably take it out without any issues. Because, like, the far left will hold it up pretty easily, considering the far right is exactly the same, but that might cause, like, instability issues. I don't know. Well, thank you. I mean, I've always loved flight sims, you know, and like I put in my my about, I pretty much grew up, you know, through high school and afterwards, watching people like Jeff Favignano and Captain Canada, which actually I think he's streaming right now, the MD80, but that's besides the point. And I always thought to myself, just like, I really want to do that. I want to be able to make content for the stuff that I absolutely love, like Flight Sim and a couple of other things, but I'd never really had decided, you know what, let's do it, until rather recently. I was just like, well, why not? I mean, my computer mostly handles it. I badly need a processor upgrade because it is... I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great either. But, like, I've never done content creation like this before. I've done some random videos of, like, World of Warships and stuff like GTA and whatnot, just montages and stuff that I've thrown together with me and some friends playing before, and that's on my main YouTube account that I use for, you know, everything else. But I don't know, I just gotta say, you know what, live streaming seems pretty cool, and I like sharing this with other people. When it comes to my friend group, there's a couple people that kind of are into flight sims, but my one buddy, Dave, he mostly likes GA flying, and I'm all about airliners. So I could never really get him to, you know, fly stuff like this with me. And I don't know, it's not boring, but makes me want to, you know, be able to do things like this, like stream it and talk to other people that like this stuff. And hey, even if I spend the next 5 years doing this and, you know, there's only a couple of people that, you know, jump in and stick around, that's still, you know, a couple of people more than I would have had if I never did it. So that's the way I'm looking at it. No matter which way this goes, I'll be happy. Let's head back to the flight deck real quick and make sure everything's still Gucci up here. Make sure it's not doing Mach 1.5. Still got quite some time until descent. I wonder what the weather is in Denver right now. Let's look up the Meta there. Hey, Dan. Please tell me it's raining. Oh, thank the gods, the wind is negligible. The variable at 5 knots, that's pretty much nothing. 10 statute miles of visibility, few clouds at 8,000, temperature 16 degrees Celsius. 3001 on the barometer. 8,000. Time to just Google it. Denver International Weather. Well, now Google says it's 17 degrees Celsius and sunny. Who knows? We'll see when we get there. Captain Engine 2 is on fire and Engine 1 is no longer on fire. Okay, what's the bad news? Engine 1 has stopped running. Ay, ay, ay. No, wait. What was it? The bad news is engine 2 is on fire. The good news is engine 1 is no longer on fire and will be landing immediately. I need to remember before the next stream on Monday to increase this bit rate. Because I knew our internet could handle a much, much higher bit rate, but I didn't want to push it too much. But even YouTube is yelling at me, just like, yeah, I think I'll increase it next time. And I could do it now, but I'd have to stop the stream, change it, and then start it up again. Oh my god, my vape batteries are dying so quickly. I changed these vape batteries out before we left earlier, Sasha, and they're already almost dead. Guess it's time to swap them out again. One was made of wood. Yeah, I'm gonna just do it later. I think the problem is, like, every time I was, like, testing the stream yesterday and then, of course, starting the stream today, for some reason, every time I tried to go live, it would tell me that I had to re-log in. I'm not quite sure why that is. So I think it's, like, resetting the stream settings that I set up yesterday. Oh, sounds like your problem. The vape thing? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've only been using these batteries since, well, what was that, late July last year? I highly doubt they ought to be having problems by now. Oh, then again, I do use them a lot. Oh, this music's wonderful. little over halfway through our flight. We're currently flying over the eastern border of Nebraska, or the southeastern corner. Just came out of Missouri. About to pass Lincoln. Ooh. Nebraska was the last state we drove through that everything was peachy. And nobody needs any further explanation than that. Ukraine forges plane wreckage into key fobs to fund the war effort. Okay. Won't be long now before we descend. Just after Pilsner. If that prediction on the fuel we'll have left by the time we get to Denver is correct, this is going to be an interesting landing. Very heavy aircraft, high altitude, low speeds. What is that about the fuel? Oh, turn off the overdrive pumps. .1 on the left. 700-pound difference. Cross street should be on. Oh, we'll see, I guess. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the overdrive pumps back on for the right side, or main 2. And then once that balances out, turn them back off. The 700-pound imbalance, I mean, when you have a plane this big, it's not that much of a problem, but I'd rather it not be a problem at all. £500. With those overdrive tanks going, or with those overdrive pumps going, all 4 engines are being fed out of the main 2 and main 3 tanks. So, considering I have the overdrive pumps on for only main 2, or main 3 rather, the right side, should eat into the overage that there is over there. And it is rather quickly. It's only 300 pounds up now. That's 10,000 exactly. Let's go ahead and turn this off. Alright, if you're not dead, sound off. Is anybody else here with me? Alright. How far are we from descent? Dead. Seems legit. We have just over 100 miles to go. Good. As a matter of fact, I should probably at some point soon tune the ATIS for Denver so we can find out what the active runways actually are. ATIS is on 125.6. 125.600. Go ahead and switch that over. And we'll listen and see what they say when we get within range. At the very least, for the moment, she's flying like a dream. Where in the world are we flying over currently? Oh, western Nebraska. Just south of North Platte. At about 35 minutes until we land. That's good. Not too long now. Rip. Now, I know I'm gonna butcher the absolute hell out of your name, but Artis, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And you too, Sasha. Good on Nebraska. Fields for millennia. Not miles, millennia. Finally, the left hand turned to Dunkel. Let's make sure that the weather hasn't changed at all. Oh, it has. From what I can see on my METAR report for Denver, the winds are 020 for 6, gusting to 17 knots. That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have to set our landing speed for the REF plus, I say about 9 or 10 knots. Definitely gonna be using some reverse thrust on this landing. Most certainly. Oh, I see. Well, thank you, Sasha. think I might have an idea of who you are. But no matter what, thank you for showing up anyway. It means a lot to me. That moment when you take a fat rip off the vape and the cloud stops your phone's facial recognition from being able to unlock your phone. I've been relaxing listening in. I mean, for real though, Flight Sim and some lo-fi, pretty good vibes. That is if I don't smash this thing into the runway when I land, which is entirely possible, because I usually don't fly it this heavy, so we'll see how this goes. That fuel tank warning is worrying me. I mean, I know why it's up there. 747 does does not like having more fuel in the wing tanks than the center tanks, or rather the main, like, fuselage tanks, because main 1 and main 4 are in the wings. Main 2 and main 3 are in the fuselage, and you got the center tanks that are also in the fuselage, and then the stab tanks, which are in the horizontal stabilizers in the back, but stab tanks and center tanks are empty because we're not flying across the ocean, so we don't need an ungodly amount of fuel. Holy Jesus. We can finally see the top of descent on the nav display. "27 miles to Kolsch, 60 to top descent." The way it decides life sucks seems legit. Please don't be a casualty of my landing. I don't need the FAA to have anything more to investigate me on than that weird takeoff that I did. I'm telling you though, those gusts were crazy on liftoff. And it probably doesn't help that I had to rotate a little early, considering that I was running out of runway. We're not going to talk about that. Yeah, it's looking like I'm at 22,000 pounds of fuel left by the time we get to Denver. Which reserves were 10. Wait, does... Hold on. Fuel to remain. Does that actually work? Could I actually dump some fuel? I've actually never tried it on this. Oh. Banzai craters in the flank. I'm gonna have to test that sometime. I've never used the fuel jettison in this. I don't know if it actually functions. Wait, maybe if I turn that. Okay, 14.6. But does that correlate to me rotating that? No, doesn't. Yeah, that's to remain 14.6. It's negative 39.4. It's also 39.4. 14.5. I'll just I'm just gonna not mess with it. If we land heavy, we land heavy. I'll just have to be more careful on the landing. Alright. So let's check what altitude I need to be at for approach. I think the last altitude given in the approach was 11,000 before the transition to the landing runway. So let's go ahead and set this to 11,000. And the aircraft should just start descending on its own once we hit top descent. Because I've technically, quote, cleared it down to 11. And I will need to keep an eye on the speeds. Seatbelt signs on. Again, cargo flight. We technically have no passengers, but there do be crew up here. A gorgeous FedEx Express plane. $747-800. The new Air Force One is actually going to start being built. Because good lord, that old 7.4 that they use for Air Force One really needs to be retired. I love how earlier I was talking about how I've had so much hot chocolate and like I don't want any more, and all of a sudden I really, really want to make more hot chocolate. But I'll wait till we land. Boy, it would be swell if Asus would chime in right around now. That way I know what runway is actually active. I'm planned for 3-4 left, but that was planned based on what was active when I drove the flight plan 2.5 hours ago. Winds could have shifted by now, which they have changed. I don't know if shifted, but they have changed. You'll end up starting descent here in a couple of seconds. If my predictions were correct, that is. Could be wrong. You never know. It could have suddenly randomly, for no reason, ended up 100 miles east of our current position. Just because quantum physics is confusing like that. Oh, we have started our descent, literally as I came back to the cockpit. Okay. Was waiting for that spool down.
I know it sounds silly, dear, but do it for me, please.
Alright. Alright, so we're heading down to 11,000. Well, I've cleared the plane down to 11,000. It will and should follow the constraints set out in the flight plan. Ah, my eye. So by the time we hit Pint, we should be below 21,000 and above 15. I'm gonna guess we're gonna cross somewhere around 17,000-ish. And I've got to make sure I slow this bad boy down to 250 knots.
Denver Airport information.
Ah, there we go.
2200 Zulu. Wind 030 at 9er.
030 for 9.
10. Sky condition, no clouds below 12,000. Temperature 17. Dew point 10. Altimeter 29.88. ILS runway tree.
29.88.
ILS runway tree. For left ILS runway tree 5 right and ILS runway tree 5 left in use.
Okay.
Landing and departing runway tree 4 right runway tree 4 left runway tree 5 right and runway tree 5 left. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft.
Okay, so runway 34 left is a currently active runway, which is good. So we will land on the runway that was set out in the flight plan. I will then take a quick look at the airport map. Where is it? Airport info. As a matter of fact, I can actually switch this over and show you guys what I'm looking at. Sim Toolkit Pro. Nope, doesn't want to do that. Okay, that's fine. So I will add display capture, add source. Okay. We'll throw that down here on top of that, and then if I bring this over. Good. Okay, that can be seen. So, for landing on runway 34 left, oh thank God that runway is nice and long, 16,000. We're going to probably use most of this. For landing on 34 left, the parking area, the cargo ramp is down over here at the end of 35 left. So we're landing in here. I want to at least be off of the runway by D9, but we'll probably end up running a bit long, and I'll exit D11, turn around, come back south on the Delta taxiway, cross. Oh, there isn't anyone to cross down there. I've got a long taxi ahead of me, Jesus Christ. So if we can exit Delta 9, and come over here, cross runway 34 right, up this way, down this taxiway, or Delta 9 onto Delta, cross here, and then head down Foxtrot, cross at Zulu, take taxiway Mike all the way down this way, and then CR Charlie into the cargo ramp. I think that's what I'll end up doing. But yeah, we'll see. Need this. I'll slide that back off to the left. And fix the display capture. Alright, this is where I need to start slotting the aircraft down. Roll it back to 250 knots. And add some speed brake. Just a little bit so we can continue descending. Alright, so minimums for the airport, or at least for this runway, for Cat 1 landing, 5,527. That over to Barrow. 5,530. Oh, good lord, I've got a lot of scrolling to do. Real quick, switch this over from standard to the local pressure. We're coming through 18,000 feet. Still scrolling. Can I? So I could just click and hold. Learn something new every day. $55.30 is what we're looking for. And I went completely past it. There we go. Alright, barometric minimums are set. I will go ahead and decrease that range. Close the speed brakes. And we'll start getting this thing set up. Init ref, approach. Flaps are going to be 30. Alright, so our V reference speed, which is our kind of final approach speed, on short final for the runway is 166 knots. Winds at 9. I'm gonna probably add 5 knots to that speed, so we'll be landing at 171. I'd punch that in. Leave that discontinuity in there because honestly I actually need it. And let's take a look at the approach plate. So as we descend, once we get to Grilla and then High Mom, we want us on a heading of 173, and then normally we'd get vectored from there, but of course we're not using any actual ATC, so we'll end up doing that ourselves. Let's go ahead and set that on the autopilot. $173 degrees. Alright. For this next point below 15,000, we're about to cross that, and we've crossed it. We need to be above 13. Plane is on a pretty nice descent path, and the airport should actually be just off of our nose and down to the left, which I have it right there. That would be Denver. Honestly, absolutely love that airport. And in Flight Sim, it's one of the ones that are handcrafted. They call it bespoke, but they're just handcrafted airports by the developers. They took a bunch of pictures and whatnot of the airport, its general layout, and made it themselves when they were developing North America. There's actually pretty high detail, which I hope isn't going to screw with my frame rate when we're coming into land, but it's anyone's game. Alright, left turn. We don't need to drop to 210 until High Mom, but I am, however, going to drop us down to 240 knots. And let's just check and make sure that the FMC is put on the correct, or tune the correct ILS for the approach. 111.9er, got that in. ILS 34 left, it's well identified. ATIS is 125.6, we've already got that. We've listened to ATIS. I am going to check it one more time before we go on final approach, though, just to make sure everything's still current. And airport elevation 5434. That's not going to be too much of a problem. It is a rather high altitude landing, though, so that's why I chose completely full flaps. That and we're rather heavy. Transition altitude 18,000, of course, because we're in the U.S. And I'm looking for something that we can tune. Denver 117.9. Need a VOR. 117.9, just so I can know our distance from the airfield. At a heading of 353. The course of 353 is the runway. Now the airport should be just down to our left. There it is. Landing on that runway right there from this direction to this direction. And then cargo ramp is that strip of concrete right there. So we've got quite a taxi ahead of us. I could cut through the gates here. I mean, there's nothing against that. If we had ATC, they would let us know where to taxi, but since we do not, slow us down to 220. Add a little bit of spoiler. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the music here. Oh, what are you doing, aircraft? Why in the world did it start descending like that? That was kind of nuts. Climbing, I'll close the speed brakes. This aircraft is not being nice to me today. Alright, at the very least for this landing. Okay, you don't need to... How about this? Vertical speed. And we're going to climb back up to 11,000 nice and slow. All right. Since we are dropping the speed back to 220, go ahead and go flaps 1. What is going on here? It does not want to stay put at the correct altitude at all. Alright, this is where I'm going to go ahead and turn us out to the right a bit. Turn right for 200. I'll go ahead and fill in the speeds here. Even though the plane's not going to follow them, I can... It's a good reference for me to be able to look down and be like, oh, okay, I should probably be at this speed at this point. Arnold. Let's do 185. Arnold. Do 190 for Merkel and Kaler. $190 for Cog. And 200 for Alpine. Alpine. Alright, and let's turn left. Try to be perpendicular with Teller. Honestly, I think the problem with the that time the planes went Union. I think the problem with the altitude control currently is probably the gusting winds. It doesn't like them. Doesn't like them one bit. Because the aircraft thinks that our airspeed keeps changing wildly, so it tried to compensate for a massive decrease in airspeed by dropping the nose, which of course dropped our altitude when our airspeed was actually fine. Gotta love velocity vectors. Okay, alright, good. Actually made that turn. I wasn't sure if it was going to or not. I thought I was gonna have to force it, coerce it, hold its head underwater. I don't know. Pretty much anything to get this thing on the ground. Alright, slow us down to 200 knots.
Kilo Lima Hotel X-ray automated weather observation 2200 Zulu. Wind 042 at 6. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 20C, 2.10C. Altimeter 298.
Well, that's not creepy at all.
Denver Airport information Oscar 2200 Zulu. Wind 028 at 9er. Visibility 10. Sky condition, no clouds below 12,000. Temperature 17. Dew point 10. Altimeter 29.89er. ILS runway tree, 4 right ILS runway tree, 4 left ILS runway tree, 5 right and ILS runway tree, 5 left in use. Landing and departing runway tree, 4 right runway tree, 4 left runway tree, 5 right and runway tree, 5 left. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions.
I don't know what this plane is smoking,
On initial contact, you have Oscar.
but I want some.
Denver Airport information Oscar 2200.
And I'm gonna just go direct to Alpine.
Wind 039er at 10. Visibility 10. Sky
Let's go
condition
flaps
no
5.
clouds below 12,000. Temperature 17. Dew point 10. Altimeter 29.901. ILS
29.901.
runway 7 and ILS runway 8 in use. Landing
Alright.
and departing runway 7 and runway 8. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold.
Alright, let's go ahead and switch off the ATIS. Alright, it'll be 10,000 all the way to Merkel, and then actually going to allow it to clear itself to 7,000. Only God knows when it'll decide that, though. It might just randomly pitch down on me again and try to kill us all, but I will not let Sasha's packages go down in a plane crash. That's right. I got you. Speed back to 190. We'll go flaps 10. So we're about to be going below 10,000 feet. I'll just go ahead and preemptively turn all the lighting on. Oh, landing lights, because we definitely have the field in sight. There she be. Runway's blinking and everything. Also, I'm going to go ahead and arm the localizer. That takes us off of LNAV. And let's really quickly go over what we do if we've got to declare missed approach. So, for missed approach, we're going to climb to 5,800 feet, and a climbing left turn to 10,000 and heading 270. So I'm going to go ahead and dial in. Actually, no, I'm going to stick with the runway heading. Just in case I need to re-engage the autopilot on that climb out. Oh yeah, climb to 5,800, then a climbing left turn to 10,000 on heading 270, and outbound on FQF VOR radio 306 to Hygen. Okay, and that should already be in the FMC. Yeah, and then a hold at Hygen. Then I'd vector myself back around and back in. Alright, I'm starting to descend through 10,000. Just gotta be above 9,000 for Arnold. I gotta bring the speed back again to 185, because that's what I decided to set for myself earlier. Plane's trying to hold a localizer, but the winds have another idea. It's coming in from our left. Means when I touch down, the nose is going to want to pull left, so I got to compensate right with rudder. Which is fine. Alright, since we are on the approach, I'm going to go ahead and set the auto brakes to 2. And arm the spoilers. And we're going to slow down to our final approach speed of 171 knots. Flaps 20. Winds are really kicking up. I don't like it. Matter of fact, we can actually go ahead and drop the gear as well. Oh, what the hell is going on here? Alright, I can see I'm gonna have to hand fly this because the plane doesn't want to work with me. Oh dear, I just realized something serious. I forgot that when default should have all 4 engines. Oh, yeah, throttle axis, there we go. Holy Jesus. I do not know what is wrong with this aircraft, but it needs to stop. It's like the trim is constantly changing itself. Let's turn off the damn auto throttle. I need power, aircraft, power. Okay, not that much power. Note to self, the autopilot cannot be trusted. And apparently nor can the winds? Why is it going left, though? And now I'm way too high. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to use that missed approach now, aren't I? Nah. Actually, I think I can still save this. There's some speed brake. I don't know what the elevator trim is doing, but it's causing issues. Yeah, no. It does not wanna. Alright, let's get the reversers out. I don't know what the heck is wrong with this thing. Still got it down though. Landed it really hard, but I got it down. Thank you. Alright, let's get the auto brakes off. I don't know what that was. Plane, would you mind moving? Why did that switch my... Okay. I can see I'm gonna have to fix some things. I had totally forgotten. Okay, so I had to wipe my computer a while back. Which means I lost all of my profiles for my accessories. So, I had to make new profiles, but I forgot to do one for the 7.4 because I have a split throttle, and I like to set left engines to the left throttle, right engines to the right throttle, and I forgot to do that. I'm going to duplicate this. I did not mean to take a screenshot. Power management, throttle. Throttle 4 axis. find it anyway. Throttle 3-axis. Be on the left or right side as well. Validate. Throttle 2-axis. I will be changing to the left. Validate. And then should be good. Apply and save. Go back. Resume. Okay, now that excitement is over. And here I thought I had everything set up properly to do this flight. Little did I know. Oh, that might also explain why our ability to pick up speed on takeoff wasn't that great, because I was manually advancing the throttles. So that means only one side was advancing, the left two engines. Huh. That makes a lot of sense now. Alright, let's go ahead and slow down. I can make this turn without tearing up the landing gear. Which, I mean, if we're being honest, that landing probably did more damage to the landing gear. Realistically, would have done more damage to the landing gear than a little too fast of a turn ever could have. And then now, I've got differential thrust, which means that this turn will be a lot easier. And that mapping issue for the throttle axis was probably also the reason why, when I was on short final, the plane kept wanting to drift left instead of to the right where it was turning it. Yeah, and why it was pulling to the right so much. Alright. Should have the flaps coming up nice and slow. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh my god. Landing rate was recorded at negative 721 feet per minute. That is realistically a trip to headquarters. And probably a lot of blown, very expensive blown tires. Okay, well, those two warning messages don't want to clear. That's fine. It's fine, everything's fine. I totally 100% should have gone around. Absolutely. In those conditions, when I was A, at first, way too low, and then B, way too high afterwards. But hey, we got it on the runway. We didn't run off into the grass. Nobody died. Yeah, there may have been some insurance claims, but you know. Sasha's packages got here. That's what matters. Good Lord, the ground is uneven here. Oh, I remember why I don't take this connector between these two runways anymore. That massive dip in front of us. Which reminds me, let's go ahead and get the APU started. Taxi light on. Turn those off. And try to go around this valley in the taxiway. Go over here. Yeah, we gotta bust out these lights on the side of the taxiway, but you know what? They shouldn't be there, and neither should that hole. No other English issue. There's no other traffic, so I'm gonna just go ahead and cross this runway. And put on the golf. Choose this right-hand turn right here. I'm definitely gonna have to look into why the autopilot was being such a menace on approach. Because that should not have happened. Go ahead and turn left here on the Zulu. Turns out there's a problem with this plane. Yeah. Probably won't end up flying it for a while. So it's not just the FAA that wants to talk to you, it's HQ too. GFSF much? Yeah, pretty much. And chat.hello. I mean, Sasha, let's be honest. You are chat. For a moment. Honestly, I think when it comes to the 747, Dave is right. Plane's cursed. Only 2 inches is probably why. Yeah. See, I don't know though. I didn't give any throttle input while it was on its own managed descent. When it was trying to catch the glide slope, I didn't do anything. I was letting the plane fly the glide slope, and it just started nosing down for no reason. Every time I tried to like change the speed that it was going at to try to slow it down a little bit, the nose would just drop completely. And my theory about the winds earlier, probably not correct, considering that the winds were only 9 knots, and they weren't really gusting. Unless the ATIS in this just doesn't tell you when it's gusting, which is entirely possible. They've got a lot of little things here and there that they need to work out with this simulator. Farthest is who I think that is. They probably stepped away. What the heck? Did I just run over a car or something? Why did it bump up like that? Oh yeah, that's right. Taxiway's freaking scuffed. I scuffed the runway. I had nothing to do with the taxiway though. It's all airport. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. Alright, we're crossing Lima and making a right turn on Mike right here. And that should take us all the way down to the end of this other runway ahead of us. And it'll take us to the cargo ramp. We can finally shut this thing down and pretend like it's not as cursed as it seems. Holy hills! Takeoff thrust much? I really need to look into the topography for this airport. Logo lights off. You know, other than the giant random pitfalls in the taxiways, this is a really nice airport. We'll have to do a 787 flight out of here next time. Either that or the A320. Probably A320. It's about the most complete, well-behaved aircraft out on floor flight sim right now. So that the A320 wouldn't randomly try to throw the plane into the ground while it's landing. Well, you never know, it might, because according to Dave, that plane's cursed too. feel like right now, if this was DCS and Sasha was here with me, you'd probably be taxiing. No, you wouldn't be taxiing down this taxiway. You'd have taken off on this taxiway already. Grass. Yeah, probably. There'd be a giant, blackened, still burning strip of grass, probably in a this-away direction. That would show where you went full burner, just firewalled the engines, and yeeted on out of here. Grass around Kataisi's never been the same since you started doing DCS. Alright, we want to turn right at the second from last intersection. So yeah, not this right turn coming up, but the next. Right turn up here. Down that hill we go. That is exactly what the Denver terminal looks like. If I remember correctly, that bit right there is actually a hotel. Oh no. It's been a while since the last time I was in Denver. Actually, wait a minute. When was that? I don't remember. I don't remember where I was going. Alright, now let's find us a parking spot. That could be down at the end here. I think we're gonna go ahead and park it right here on the left. What are these GA aircraft doing here? Oh, then I can't park there. We'll turn it around and just put it in at one of the parking spaces back at the other end. Or right there. That actually works out a lot better. Past the mark a little bit, not a problem. We can get her in here. All right. Parking brake set. APU is on. Go ahead and throw on the APU bleed. Kill all the engines. Off these lights. Turn off the fuel pumps. On to external power. Disconnect APU. Shut down the APU. Anti-ice off. And standby power off. Fill the battery. Oh. One thing I forgot. Taxi lights. Don't need them. Kill the external power. Well, alright, my friends, that is it. That was our flight from Indianapolis to Denver. I had a pretty insane takeoff because of problems that were unforeseen. At least the cruise was nice and smooth. Descent was fine. The landing could have been much, much better, but again, unforeseen issues that had to be fixed mid-landing. But we got her down and we got here. Well, to the two of you that showed up, thank you so much for being here, Sasha, and the other one I'm pretty sure I know who you are. Well, let's do this again sometime. I'll probably be streaming again on Monday. Definitely a different aircraft, because I don't know what's going on with the 747. But that is it from me. Y'all have yourselves a good night.